Welcome back to Mark Dolan Tonight. It's time now for The Newsmaker, in which we tackle the big stories of the day in the company of a fearless commentator. Tonight, Donald Trump pleaded not guilty this week after becoming the first former president to be criminally charged on 34 counts of falsifying business accounts. Mr. Trump could face a maximum of 4 years in prison if he is found guilty in December. And as President Biden is set to visit the UK after announcing he will not be attending the coronation of King Charles, was the King snubbed by President Biden, or was this simply presidential protocol? Joining me to discuss all of this is White House political correspondent Jon-Christopher. Thank you for joining me. Let's get an update on Trump then. So we know of the pleading not guilty. Pick up the story from them.
Well, the indictment outlines an ongoing scheme to pay hush money to a porn star and to a Playboy model, and to also silence other individuals by setting up this a fake legal retainer agreement with his lawyer, Michael Cohen, the poor son of a gun, who has a young child, and a wife, and he mortgaged his condo in Manhattan so he could come up with the cash so Donald wouldn't have to get his hands dirty. So what did Trump do? Like everything else in the sleazebag world of New York, what can I say, real estate, finance, etc., he took the money from his corporation and he used that money and he took it as a tax deduction. Now that is totally criminal, and that is why the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, a very, very savvy white criminal prosecutor, went after him, and Trump sat there in the docket looking like a chastened boy, no bravura, until he went down to Mar-a-Lago, and then he ranted and raved, and he even threatened, basically, the judge. Imagine doing that, Stephen. He said, the judge and his wife hate me. The judge's daughter hates me. I mean, he went off, and the man is definitely losing it. He's already lost it, but he's back, and now he's been really, as I said, chastened. He hasn't been speaking much lately. I don't know if you heard, but we haven't heard a thing from him over here.
It's interesting. It's nice to get the details on some of the charges, because obviously we were waiting for that for a while. Thank you for that. Some of the things you've described there sound really worrying. So the next question would be, how has this impacted his popularity?
Well, Donald Trump always manages to make the worst out of the best and the best out of the worst, Stephen. By the way, some of my friends in the UK said we'd be a good match. So they're watching in tonight as we take on this topic. So cheers to you.
Always willing to have a viewership bump.
He can make money out of this because he can say, and this is Good Friday, and I don't want to insult any of my Christian friends. I am one. He can become a martyr, as he says. Oh, woe is me. Look what they're doing to me. They're persecuting me. He has these cult followers. I call them his disciples. And he can pretend that was in front of Pontius Pilate last week, and he's now a tragic figure. But his MAGA base, yeah, there he is. There you go. Hello, Donnie. His MAGA base will love that. They will pour more money. He's made about $10 million since his indictment, and he's playing it up to the hilt. And this is what he does. I've known him all my life, New York City. I am a New York City boy, and this is nothing new.
So given that it feels like a lot of commentators were predicting that this would go exactly this way, if anything, it would boost his popularity with his core, wasn't this politically stupid to do this court case first? Out of all of the things he's being investigated for, was this the silly move?
Well, actually, it's a very good question, and a lot of people question that. None of these prosecutions are coordinated. They are what they are, and Bragg's is Bragg's, and we have a special counsel appointed by the Department of Justice, by the Justice Department, who will be coming after Trump for Mar-a-Lago and for the January 6th insurrection. We have another case, which is a case against a woman who accused him of raping her in a very Tony ladies' department store on Fifth Avenue. And then he said, and now she's suing him for defamation. So this stuff doesn't stop. And he said to basically, in his typical New York slang, he says, she's too ugly for me to go near. I wouldn't have raped her. And now she's suing him for defamation of character. She's quite a charming, sophisticated lady. So there's and then there's a case down in Georgia.
Yeah,
yes, let me just finish. I'm sorry about that. There's a case in Georgia now, which is which they're the prosecutor is coming after him for literally calling the Secretary of State and saying, "Can we get more votes? I need more votes. I need more votes." And these are outrageous, but they're not coordinated. And Bragg went after him because he does what he does: white collar criminals and mobsters.
It almost seems that the Georgia case is the kind of thing that might make a difference, whereas lots of people, without knowing the graphic details of this story, would think, oh, why is it illegal to pay someone money to be quiet? And now there are reasons, and it's more to do with the business irregularity. But in a sense,
yes,
it's weakening the attack by bringing this. I know you say they're not organised, but this one being brought at all seems to be weak sauce in comparison to some of the others.
Well, when you put them all together, and Bragg is putting these, there's another one where David Pecker, who was a National Enquirer, he got a story with one of these gals, and he did what's called catch and kill. He did the story, he bought it, and he killed it. Now that's another one. They're mounting up. Now here's what happens in America, as you know, in Great Britain, I follow pretty closely. We have the moderates, the left, the right. We have the lunatics, the MAGA goons that I call them, his disciples. And then we have the rock solid Republicans who I like Ike, President Eisenhower and George H.W. Bush and those kind of Republicans. And Bragg case proves that you can hold Donald Trump's feet to the fire without a civil war. And that's what Trump was trying to say. Now, the Republicans are not, like the John McCain Republicans, are not going to go with Trump. And the middle of the roaders, where most elections are won, the swing voters, are not going to go for Trump. Okay. Because can you imagine suburban moms having to explain to their daughter what sex with a porn star is? I mean, it doesn't work for Trump. He doesn't make him look like a good guy.
They had to explain what he said on that bus once, but I want to move you off of Trump because I worry about your blood pressure. I want to worry about your blood pressure, Jon-Christopher. Let's talk about Biden. Have we been snubbed? Is he not coming over to the King's coronation?
Oh, Biden, he spoke. I believe he spoke to His Majesty. He is, in fact, he did speak to His Majesty. There hasn't been a president certainly in my lifetime, and certainly since Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, that has actually gone to the coronation. It was back in when the Queen was coronated in, I believe, 1952. Some very high level potentates from America, George Marshall of the Marshall Plan, I believe, Chief Justice Earl Warren went. But Ike didn't go, and Ike and I know Churchill were very close. The First Lady is going, and I think she is quite an extraordinary woman. The First Lady and the President both attended Her Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth's funeral, and she is a very classy lady, and I think that's traditionally what happens. Now, Joe Biden will be in Ireland, Northern Ireland, which is the UK, and in Ireland again, also very soon. I can't give you the dates. I'm not privy for those dates, but he'll be over there, and he'll show his respect to the people of Northern Ireland for the accord, the peace accord, which is a.
Do you think this has been whipped up as a story then? Because a lot of newspapers are taking the angle of how the UK is being snubbed. Why do you think they're picking that particular fight?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they want to sell papers. They're always looking for controversy. That as we say, that sells newspapers. The relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States is wonderful. It's precious. I don't get there enough, and I've been there doing a lot of TV and radio. My wife works in the city when we come over. Some of our favorite restaurants and bars are in London and all throughout the UK. But we don't because of the pandemic. But we like to be coming over more. And I'll tell you, Biden will visit King Charles soon, and I suspect the king will be very, very, very busy with his own celebration and with his sons and all his grandchildren and wonderful things. And I wish him the best. God bless the king.
We will endeavour to keep this relationship special, but thank you for that, White House political correspondent Jon-Christopher Bua. Thank you for giving us the update on Trump there.